In the next few minutes, you're going to learn 3 tips from Saint Bonaventure on how to improve your fundraising. Hi, I'm Brice Sokolowski, the founder of CatholicFundraiser.net, a website that is completely dedicated to helping Catholics just like you with their fundraising. Whether you're just starting out, you're looking for new ways to fundraise, or looking to just increase your fundraising, well, you are in the right spot. Okay, before we dive into what Saint Bonaventure recommends on how to fundraise in the Catholic context, I just want to make sure that you've downloaded the 10 Commandments to Catholic Fundraising. This is a guide that's completely free and made available to Catholics on how to fundraise. These are 10 things that I recommend that every Catholic should be doing when fundraising because, well, these 10 things have helped me. They've helped other Catholics with their fundraising, and it's just been an overall, I guess, help from what I've seen. Thousands of people have downloaded it. I've gotten great feedback, and I've updated the guide to make sure that it's relevant today in today's context for Catholics. So make sure that you download absolutely for free the 10 Commandments to Catholic Fundraising. Okay, Saint Bonaventure. Who was Saint Bonaventure? Okay, if you see me look down or pause, it's because I'm looking at my notes, which are always made available on my website. The link is going to be right below. If you have any questions about what I've said, just make sure that you download, you click the link right below, and you can get access to that. So Saint Bonaventure, he was a bishop, and he's also a doctor of the Catholic Church, a doctor to the Catholic Church, and he was good friends with Saint Thomas Aquinas. He studied in Paris, I believe the 13th century, so a very, very wise saint. And as well, I believe he was of the Franciscan order as well. And one of the documents that he wrote is, it was actually called The Holiness of Life. It's a great book. I highly recommend that you read it for spiritual nourishment, but for this purpose, we're going to be looking at what it says with regards to fundraising. And yes, his book gives help, recommendations on how to fundraise, because he does talk about poverty, humility, and what to do with the temporal things. And when we are working with fundraising, well, this stuff is all about obviously receiving things, getting donations, and getting money, which can sometimes and very often disrupt our spiritual life, our mission, etc. So here are 3 tips from Saint Bonaventure on how to fundraise and keep it aligned with your Catholic faith and growing in your relationship with God. Okay, the first thing that Saint Bonaventure recommends is, and this is a quote from him, "The ordinary man must have a love of poverty." That means be happy with what you have right now. And Saint Bonaventure stresses that Christ was born poor, he lived poor, and he died poor. So with fundraising, of course, we're looking to acquire more revenue, more funds, more money, more assets, more of things. And we just have to, step one, just be happy with what we have. Because with fundraising, we can get really stressed and really worried and be anxious about what we're going to receive. And we think that we don't have enough today. And that is a big, big no-no from Saint Bonaventure and a lot of saints. I would say that, if anything, all the saints. So you have to be, number one, be thankful for what you have and do what it is that you think you are called to do with what you have. The second tip from Saint Bonaventure, and I quote him, you've got to be taking at, well, this is me synthesizing him, and I'll go into what he said. You got to take action in your current situation, which will produce fruit. And this is Saint Bonaventure. The more you are attached to the poverty you profess, and the more you practice evangelical poverty, the more will you abound in spiritual and temporal treasures. And to synthesize, by just doing what you are called to do with what you have and believing in God, and God will provide, temporal goods will come, spiritual goods will come, and you're going to be in a good position. So don't stress, don't worry, just take action with what you have. And the third recommendation from Saint Bonaventure, which wraps up both these 2 points, is the practice of voluntary poverty earns the reward. earns the reward of the beatific vision and the right to enter into the palace of the power of God. This means money and donations doesn't really get you to heaven. And that's really important with fundraising, is that fundraising, doing something bigger, getting that money, whatever it is that you're trying to do with the money, that's not really going to get you to heaven. It's the other things that you're doing. It's the prayer, it's the following God, it's overcoming the struggles. And take for example Saint Paul, who had a thorn in his side. So it's through all these struggles and believing in God and seeing him work, that's your way you're going to get to heaven. So make sure that your fundraising is, yes, you can go out and fundraise, but don't make it the sole purpose of what it is that you're doing, or the sole driver for what you're doing. Okay, I'm not going to make this any longer. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave a comment, and especially share this with a religious order, a priest, a bishop, a friend, a fellow Catholic that you think could really benefit from this stuff, because we all know that with a little bit of advice and direction, especially in fundraising, we can do a whole lot more. God love you, and I look forward to speaking with you next week. Bye-bye.